Oddball Show, a podcasting collaboration of JP Live Productions and Oddball Magazine.
Hello, hello. What's up, everybody out there on the interwebs? This is the Oddball Show, the newly revamped and newly improved Oddball Show. Tonight, or today, I should say, we're running a special show Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, January 31st, 2016. Our special guest today is none other than Mr. Sur5ill himself.
Hello, hello,
Sur5ill,
hello.
what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me on. I kind of feel like I bullied this this whole session, so I apologize to everyone for fucking up your Sunday.
No need for apologies. No need for apologies. For everybody out there who may not be familiar, first of all, shame on you. Secondly, Sur5ill is a Greater Boston area MC. He's got a few mixtapes out. We did have him on to cover his first mixtape a few months ago, Work, and he's got a follow-up called Exception, which we're going to get into in a bit. But it's a stellar piece of work. Check out for Sur5ill, anybody out there on the interwebs, whether you're Greater Boston area or not, and we will send out all the pertinent links to his music and to all the other stuff that we're going to discuss today, because we've got some interesting charity work that Sur5ill's gotten involved in over the past few months, which is really going to, I think, dominate the crux of the discussion here. We'll get back to you in a second, Sur5ill. I want to introduce the rest of the panel today. First and foremost, Mr. Oddball Magazine himself, Jason Wright. Jason, what's good, buddy?
Hey, Ivan, how are you, man? I'm very good. I'm happy to be here. Sur5ill, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up?
Good to hear from you, man. I look forward to talking to you in this podcast. All right, let's get it going.
Fantastic. And, of course, Jason's partner in crime, Mr. Stone Soup Poetry himself, also heavily affiliated with Oddball Magazine, the one, the only, the elder statesman of the group, Chad Parenteau. Chad, how you doing?
I'm good. I've been gone for a while. When did this become special? Or is it special now that I'm back?
It's special because it's Sunday.
Okay. Just checking. I'm like, did something happen while I was gone, or because? I don't know. But good to be on. Good to hear your voice again, Ivan. And, of course, Sur5ill's. Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
Jason?
Fantastic. Jason's muting himself here, but I think we're in good shape. There we go. You good, Jason?
It's always great to be back with the Oddball Show. I mean, we have, we're missing Prof right now, which is unfortunate, but he'll be back on Tuesday. So.
Yep. Shout outs to Professor out there listening in cyberspace. Professor is my partner in crime, along with Mr. Kogan Johnson, Spaceman, and JP Line Productions, and of course I am Scholar. For those of you that don't know, I'm representing JP Line Productions, but you know all about us, and again, we will send out pertinent links to all our stuff as well at the end of the show here. Right now, I want to get right into this. So, Sur5ill, Mr. Sur5ill, talk to me a little bit about Exception. It's your third mixtape. You released it back in October. I personally think it's like I said earlier, it's a stellar piece of work. I think you do a really good job of touching on a lot of your central themes, not just touching on them, really, drilling down and expounding upon them. A lot of the central themes, of you as an artist, just being, that intelligent dude who grew up in the inner city and had a good education and identifies with this group of people and that group of people, and you've had an interesting life. I thought your work mixtape did a great job of really telling the story of somebody who's employed and then gets laid off and then goes out and tries to find a job, finds another job, and the whole corporate madness that entails. I thought you told that story excellently, in an EP. But talk to me about Exception. The title in and of itself implies that that there's a uniqueness about you and/or your music that you really, like I said, hammer home with this piece of work. Talk to me a little bit about Exception. What was the driving force behind it? The creative process. What's up? Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, the impetus behind it is basically what you touched on. Just the drive to stay different and drive home, the content that is different and kind of establishes that creative I would say force that allows me to not dwell on anything that's not considered normalcy and things like that. I mean, I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I think I wanted to tell another story. I really like the position that concept albums create. I didn't want to have it, be a bunch of chaotic nonsense and just anarchy. So I wanted to have kind of linear story as well. So I hooked up with one of my buddies out in Lowell. He's a producer by the name of Mr. Forgiven, and I basically said, look, work took a lot of work, and it took a lot out of me to both produce and write it and mix it and master it. So if you could shoulder some of the load and do some of the production, that would be fantastic. And he was great, and he put together some nice ensembles that I liked, and a couple that I didn't, and send it back his way for a little bit of rework and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I think overall we're very pleased with the tone that it was. I mean, it's I'm ever cynical, and I think that I think this is my most complete work to date, and very, very pleased at the direction that I'm headed. I feel like I'm really progressing pretty nicely.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you read my mind, because I did want to ask you a little bit about. I know that your works up to this point, you had done the bulk of, if not all of, the production, and I could tell, and I just knew from reading up on the album that you got some help on the production end. So let's give another shout out to the producer out there. What was his name again? I'm sorry, I missed it.
He's Mr. Forgiven, out in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Awesome. Shout outs to Mr. Forgiven, and if he's got any contact info out there online, Sur5ill, that you want to share with us, after the show, then we'll definitely include it in the write-up so that people can check up on his on his work as well.
Sure.
And I want to get into some of these album titles real quick, and then we'll let the panel chime in, just to kind of let the audience know of that story, of that linear progression that you're talking about. It's an 11-track CD, or it's an 11-track CD. Look at me, I'm back in the 90s. It's an 11-track digi, and we got with Exception the Rule. So that's your introduction. Dropouts Always Fail, which I think is a fantastic title there. I like that song a lot. Honor Your Father, that's actually my favorite on the work. I think it's a very deep track. It's not it's not the track you're going to play at a party necessarily, but if you've got if you're one of these people that appreciates deeper just introspective songs, this is definitely one of the tracks that'll definitely satisfy that thirst on this CD. I really like that one. Sur5ill. You're From the Hood, Act Like It. I mean, that's just great. Smart Gang Interlude, that's another one I like. I think that's the interlude with the studio session and them kind of bailing on you, which I think is pretty funny. You can talk about that. You Don't Belong Here, Broad Generalization, Family Over Everything, that's another one I like a lot, that FOE. Go to Church. You end it with Die Young, which I think it's a little bit morbid, but I see where you're going there. And the one right before that is the Get Married interlude, which I personally think is hilarious. And we're going to talk about marriage in the second half of the show, so maybe we'll save that one there. But
Sure.
But yeah, Chad, you had some questions on there about some of those track titles. You want to chime in?
It doesn't seem like a lot of time has passed between the last mixtape you were talking about in the last show and this one. How long was the progression from the creation to the writing to the actual recording of the songs?
That's a great question. Well, the last session that we had, you guys actually caught me in between, I'd say creative processes. So I had finished up work in June of 2014. I think I spoke to you guys in June of 2015. So I had already started to think about what I wanted to do in terms of the next, the next, let's call it album. In the urban like colloquial terms, they're mixtapes, and that's how I like to, you know, I like to call them mixtapes, and keep with that sort of thinking, because you know I- it's it's not for sale. Like, I want to do things that people can just click on and go through, and not have to worry about spending $9.99 and liking it, and sending me hate mail if they don't, and wasting their money. But sorry, back to your question. It was about a I want to say like a 9-month period, whereas I had to get some things right in my own in my hardware and software. I upgraded some things in terms of microphone. I got a new computer, put Logic Pro on it. I basically took one room out of my apartment and closed everything off, and put some soundproofing stuff in there, and so it wasn't just the album that took a lot of time. It was just my preparedness, where I wanted to get into the correct headspace to basically advance some of the stuff that I thought were shortcomings in the Gold Flame mixtape and work. Just some technical things I wanted to correct.
So it sounds like the album was probably already written before you started the work recording it.
It's funny you say that. So I think I had maybe 5 to 8% already written. So the Get Married interlude, I wrote that in like 2008 or 2009, and I had just never gotten a chance to use it.
Really?
Yeah, everything
Oh,
else. There was one verse from Go to Church that I had also written in about 2009. Everything else was brand new. It was just things that I was starting to see around me, and I started to kind of drink in some of the things from pop culture that I hated, and I just wanted to basically try to deviate from everything that you see as a title is basically me, kind of sneering at society and saying, yeah, I am the inverse to all of these rules that you guys are creating.
And that really speaks to the overarching exception concept or motif there. Which song was the hardest to write? I think Chad was curious about that. I think that's an excellent question. Like, or is that even something you can answer, because it took you however long it took you to write and to to get on the get in the studio and record, etc.
Yeah, I don't think any of them were particularly difficult. I mean, I have a process whereby I absolutely hate using the same words twice. And
Right.
I don't know if you'll hear anything like that. I'm not gonna. I try not to use the same concepts or the same words in particular songs. So I usually go back and rewrite and re-edit and scrap things. I think from I would say from a sociological perspective, it was most difficult to write Family Over Everything, because I didn't want to exacerbate anything that was taking place, within my own family. Everyone has issues in their own family, and it was something that was kind of a little subtle slight to the thinking that the familial structure is the best thing going, and
Right.
and I take a lot of value in family, but there were some things that occurred kind of behind the scenes where I'm taking a little slight at some people who use family as a crutch and then kind of turn their backs on them when it's pretty convenient for them.
Absolutely. No, I hear you. Jason, you with us, buddy?
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I'm with
What's
you.
up? What do you think of Survival's exception CD? What do you think of the concept behind that? Because I know in your poetry, you're also one to to really to I don't want to say preach the uniqueness. I think that's the wrong word choice. But there's definitely something very unique and very exceptional about not only what you put out there for people to see, but the way you approach it as well, your creative process. So I mean, I think there are some creative parallels there, some energy parallels there. How do you feel about
Well, I mean, first off,
Survival's work and that whole process?
oh yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for asking that. Well, I
No
mean,
worries.
first off, are you still going? First off, Survival is one of my more. I just really enjoy Survival's music. I've listened to it for a while now. Yeah, dude, definitely. I think you have a great style. It's unique. It's good, and it's representing all the good parts of hip hop, which I really like. And I mean, as for the creative process, man, I mean, what do you do to get into that zone? Like, how do you get that creative process flowing? What are the what is it that Survival does? I mean, how long does it take you to make a song and all that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So
There's a couple questions there. I'm just saying.
I think that it was really difficult because I have a full-time job, and I think that I referenced it in Dropouts Always Fail. Like I just kind of realized it hit me when I turned 30 years old. Like this is something that I'm going to pursue to the best of my ability. And in another song I referenced that I go to work during the day, I write songs all night. My wife, she gets on me all the time about staying up till 1 in the morning and having the laptop on my lap and just researching. Like I do a lot of things where it's like I look through the thesaurus and I look for synonyms for things, and because I don't again, I don't like to rhyme the same words twice.
Yeah.
And I use like multisyllabic sort of foundational stuff. And I think with this one also, I'm trying to catch up a little bit to stylistically what some of the other people are doing. So I used a lot of that like staccato type of stuff, and it's let me see if I can remember something. I said, "Says I was mean by the Harvard," and it's just like you going in and out and in and out of the in and out of the flow. So I'm trying different things.
Yeah.
That
rhyme scheme and the alliteration and
exactly. So like I said, it took about 8 or 9 months to kind of round this thing out. And I think the longest song, the song that took the longest was probably maybe like a 3-day process between like writing it and hashing everything out, making sure I didn't cram too many words in the bars, and then so I basically had created a bunch of tracks that I try to like piece together, and okay, this sounds this is E minor, and it sounds kind of sad, so I'll put it with this sort of scope, and so it's just it's a little bit of mix and match and trial and error, playing around with some stuff. So.
That sounds fantastic. One of the things that Jason said that kind of struck me in his line of questioning there was, Jason, you said you really enjoy appreciate the good parts of hip hop that Survival incorporates into his music. And I just really briefly, Jason, I was a little curious. What do you mean by the good parts of hip hop? And then I know Chad has a question. We want to chime in here as well, but really quick, Jay. Go ahead.
I mean, that's a good question. I think it's conscious.
Because I agree with you, but go ahead.
Yeah, totally. I think it's conscious. I think it's pushing. It's different. It's kind of like the good music you want to listen to.
Gotcha.
It's conscious. It's thoughtful. It's well done. It's creative. It's not trap shit. It's very good.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And just to defend, the trap and ratchet culture, because I'm very much a fan. I do agree that Survival's music is not that. Although stylistically, as far as some of the beats, it's got and you do go there. Like some of your beats are trap-ish.
Oh yeah.
And some of the stuff, you've got a lot of staccato going on, but you also have some more sing-songy, wavy stuff that you've incorporated into this last CD lyrically, which I think is akin somewhat to some of the stuff going on down south. 1B, you know what I mean? Kanye's album Waves is coming out. That whole sing-songy flow,
yeah,
which I think is fantastic as well. But yeah, like I said, I just want to make that clear for the interwebs because I get it. There's a whole conscious segment of hip hop out there, and I love those cats. I'm from those. I'm from that cloth. But at the same time, like you said, Survival. Every genre of hip hop has its place. Gangster rap, gospel rap, everything in between. And I just don't want to. I don't want to come across like we're shitting on trap music because we're not. I'm not. Maybe Jason is. I'm not. JP Live Productions is not shitting on trap music, right?
Let me clarify. I'm not poo-pooing on trap music. I just don't think it's that. I mean, you don't hear a lot of scratching. You don't hear a lot of stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's a whole other conversation. We can
get
into that.
I can crap on it if we need controversy. If we need controversy, if we need like a versus, like let's bring up that Nas guy. Come on.
The style of hip hop is just. I mean, you can do trap or you can do conscious or you can do whatever. You know, that's the freedom of hip hop.
That's the beauty of hip hop. Yeah. Chad, you want to chime in here? I know you had a couple of follow-ups.
Good song. Trap Queen's a good song.
I always seem to have a short question and a longer question. The first question is, which piece would you call the linchpin for your entire album? And second, I think you mentioned earlier approaching different styles with this album, which I interpreted as borrowing from styles from various artists. Out of all the artists that you may have been thinking of when you did this album, which one would you love someone to hear this album and compare you to?
Okay, two great questions. The first question I'll answer, exception to the rule intro is the linchpin of the album. I mean, it starts it off, it gives it, that tenor that I wanted. I'm basically talking to myself. I didn't have anyone else featured on the album at all. So, what you're hearing in that, quote-unquote journalist, that's me, talking to me, poking fun at me, and then me responding to me saying, go fuck yourself. I had a couple of issues, with the last one. I'm fixing them, but how dare you come at me, and kind of put these issues out there when I'm trying to, better myself and progress myself. So I think that kind of set the stage for, here's what I'm doing, and I'm doing it differently, and even just the musically, like some of the things that I was going for in that particular song is like that kind of buzzing sound, and there's kind of ethereal tones to it. It was just like really weird and different. Secondly, I think that it's kind of difficult for me to say. Obviously I would like everyone to hear it. I think I would not like to get compared to people because I think it pigeonholes you a little bit, and you kind of have to break out of that mold because they're famous and you're not, and then who it sounds like you're kind of borrowing the style, and you don't want to get trapped in somebody else's mold and then kind of have to fight that out. But I really do enjoy Childish Gambino. I really enjoy Chance the Rapper, and I got a lot of influence from some of their tones and some of their mannerisms and some of the way that they connect with their fan base, and they just like kind of snatch it and ran with it because it's it's kind of an alternative fan base. Like if you hear the people that I think Fetty Wap wants to connect to, I think it's really different from the people that Childish Gambino wants to connect to.
Yeah,
if you understand what I'm saying.
No, I would agree with that 1,000,000%. And it's I've mentioned this to you before, but yeah, one of the performances that I caught of yours, like I legit heard at least one person, maybe a couple, make that same comparison to either Chance or Childish, because those are two that pop to mind every time I listen to your music as well. And I just thought it was really great to have that moment where it's just like, all right, it's not just me. It's
a good problem to have. However, when you get typecast, it's as someone who you're emulating, quote unquote, then as you become a little more well known, then it's like, oh, okay, well, there's that dude who thinks he's Childish Gambino, and it's like, oh, well.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying. All right, so Jason, I know you got a quick question here before we move on to the next subject.
Yeah. Well, see, I was thinking like, because of the music and how unique it is, have you been pushing your music on any record labels like Strange Famous or even trying rhyme stays or anything like that?
No. I think this year's gonna be a big year for that, and talking to a couple of folks and maybe some legal people, and probably trying to establish something on my own because I'm kind of a different cat, and the way that I'm seeing the industry and the way that I'm seeing trying to go about getting booked for gigs and things like that, it's not working out so well.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna create my own path and just kind of bully my way in the manner that's most comfortable for me. So
pave your own lane. That said, though, Survival, you do have your music out there on the internet, and just a couple of quick plugs. We'll definitely go ahead and it's already up on our site, but at jplineproductions.com, you can find a link to this cast, which will also have links to not only Survival's music, but the charity work that we're going to get into really, really shortly. Sure. And for everybody out there listening, either live or in syndication, be mindful. If you want to just straight Google Survival, it's SUR, the number 5 ILL. That's S as in Sam, U as in umbrella, R as in Robert, the number 5, the actual number 5, followed by ILL, India Larry. So Google Survival. His music is out there, and it's definitely worth listening to if you're any type of hip hop fan. It's good creative music. I want to play a piece right now. Survival. Is there anything in particular you want me to play, or is this one on me?
Yeah, whatever you want, whatever you're feeling is good mood music.
I'm gonna go with "You're From the Hood, Act Like It." So let's listen to that for a little bit here. We'll just forward in a little bit.
Shout out to my wife.
Camera action. Now do is a passion, show off those techniques. From all those acting classes, you from the hood, right? 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 It's the nerd man till now, in obscure man, but this is fucking child's play. Wild, premature man, oh, I make this hot.
All right, so I hope everybody was able to hear that okay, and I think that's a prime example of what we were just talking about lyrically, Survival, where you're playing with a few different styles. So it's like I said, it's Jason's comment, and that general feeling about conscious hip hop. In as much as I feel it and understand it, I also and I can I can agree with the general notion of you being one of those conscious rapper types. I think that pigeonholes you a little bit, because I think you're toying with a lot of, not toying, you're incorporating a lot of different styles. I mean, we heard some staccato in that. We heard some of the more sing-songy stuff in that. I wouldn't consider that beat a pure trap beat, but it definitely had trappish elements, the tempo, the heavy drums. You're doing a very good job of that, and that's one of the reasons that I really, really enjoy your stuff, because it's intelligent music, it's concept music, it's topical, but it's also very diverse sonically, and your not only your lyrical content, but your lyrical approach. So kudos to you on that. I think we're ready for a quick intermission here, and then I want to get back and talk about your charity work, Survival, because I know that's very important to you, and that's really what I want to dive into. I think that's awesome. You're doing some very, very awesome stuff there. But first, we're going to allow us to reintroduce him once again, Mr. Chad Parenteau, the elder oddball. I can't even say it.
Yeah, who's the one making the 8-track references? I thought you were going to be
the elder 8-track oddball.
Tell me, Survival. Can we put your mixtape into a 2XL? Like, come on.
Take it away, Chad.
Uh-oh, I think we lost my newsflash sign. Jesus Christ, Oddball. What are you doing here? Oh, well, let's do the advertisement as we usually do. If you are in Cambridge area, check out the Out of the Blue Art Gallery at 541 Massachusetts Avenue, located in Central Square, Cambridge, home of the Stone Soup Poetry Slam and the breeding ground of the best artists and musicians in Boston. Nothing like it. And we can celebrate the Out of the Blue getting nonprofit status after over 15 years of trying. Congratulations, Out of the Blue. Come to Stone Soup this Tuesday. I'm sorry, crap. Come to Stone Soup this Monday. I'm still making the typos even as I'm speaking. Come to Stone Soup this Monday. We will have an open mic extended. What's the big deal about an open mic? Well, Have you ever tried to talk through a closed mic? Here, I'll try it. Let you try right now. I'm sorry, that bit went a little too long. It's really hard to take off cellophane once you wrap it really well. Anyway, extended open mic. New features coming up, especially for April, which is National Poetry Month, and May, which is the 45th anniversary celebration of Stone Soup Poetry. Beaucoup surprises, people.
Fantastic, fantastic. Sorry, I couldn't help but laugh at some of that. That was well done, Chad. So check out Stone Soup Poetry every Monday night at the Out of the Blue Art Gallery in Cambridge, Massachusetts. What's the address there? Is it 421 Mass Ave? Or am I making that up?
541 Massachusetts Avenue. 421 Mass Ave? Well, I can't tell you what to get there, but just tell them that Lenny sent you. Anyway, let's go.
521 Mass Ave for the greater
541 Mass Ave. 541 Mass Ave. I think that's the back door of the old Blockbuster video. What the hell?
I give up. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. Survival. Before we get into this charity stuff that you're working on, I know you had a little freestyle for us. You ready to roll?
Yeah. I mean, if you guys would like to be mesmerized, then yeah, I can totally go ahead and do that.
Mesmerize us. Go for it, homie.
Hey, what are you doing? You want me to put a beat up?
No. That'll throw me off because of the timing.
Oh, you got it. All right.
That's
All right.
I'll try to get some cadence over here. Shout out to Oddball and JP Lime, and shout out to Smart Gang. Y'all will learn what that means. I'm just taking some that little hashtag and throwing that out there. So look, it's Sir Bitch, you nervous? The rap game is the fur clit. I'm spitting on his surface and fucking up the cervix. I'm curious why you yuppies are getting touchy. Your album is getting dusty like the guy who coached the Cubbies. You soft, homie. I don't fuck around with you little lames. I'm a boss, homie, while you're between jobs like Steve's middle name. Lead, please, you donate. Rappers all in some rubble. GoFundMe, well, GoFundMe, try to be subtle. Y'all don't get it. I stay the same the more I'm getting older. You morphing into more of a poser than Vikram Yoga. Let's talk about my mixtape. The intro was just a window to let all you fucking kids know I'm peeking at my crescendo. Dropouts always fail was a symbol to all my kinfolk to never be stuck in limbo. Just go and invent a gizmo. Honor your father means you excel despite a parent. Because he's taught me everything not to do in child rearing. You're from the hood, right? Nah, dog, I'm trying to enlighten that every once in a while brown dudes grow up with some white kids. I'm repping Smart Gang. This track was discreet and clever. Google my private school and you'll put the pieces together. You don't belong here, man. The title is pretty clear. It's Stifle and was playing in Survival for 20 years. Stop generalizing broads. Stop generalizing broads or minimizing their cause. This feminist guy's at odds with premise that might be flawed. FOE was a jab at family members I'm warring with who are more interested in being hoes and forming cliques. Go listen or go to church and take it from an atheist. I spend my Sundays giving ovations to the Patriots. Next on the interlude, I'm getting married, getting glued. Fuck tradition, do what you want to do and what you consider cool. Die young is a reminder that they strike you down. Look at Tamir Rice, Laquan McDonald, and Michael Brown. Sir.
Well done. Well done. That was fantastic.
Very nice.
That was fantastic. When did you come up with that?
Good job.
Yesterday.
There you go. Quick turnaround time, huh?
Yeah. That was
Good shit, man. Good shit. I love it. And actually, that's a perfect segue because you did mention a couple of times there, rather emphatically, GoFundMe, GoFundMe, GoFundMe. What are we funding? Survival. Talk to me. What's going on in Ghana?
What is going on in Ghana? It's very hot. It is in West Africa, and so my wife, who I just married about 3 weeks ago today, she has been involved with an orphanage for about 10 years. So what we're trying to do there is raise funds to build a school in connection with the orphanage. And the goal that we're trying to reach is $50,000 right now on GoFundMe.com /Stefan-and-Zoe. You'll see that we're about halfway there, and it's a great cause. The contracting fees, came out to be about $50,000. So we embarked on this quest about, I would say about 8 months ago. Probably a little bit longer than that, as far as talking to the right people, the right contractors, and kind of mobilizing some of the troops and friends and family, and spreading that word. And we're doing it a bit more in terms of social media. And we had a fundraising concert, if you want to call it that, back in November. It was a variety show where we featured magic, comedy, music. So we're basically trying to empower people to use their funds to do good. And it was also in conjunction with our wedding, where we basically said, screw it, we don't need blenders and china plates and shit like that. It was more of let's do something good, and in lieu of these gifts, we'd rather take donations and then bring them over to Africa, get the school built, and do something that is pretty noble.
Very noble, very noble. And again, for everybody out there on the interwebs, either live or in syndication, we will provide all the links to the GoFundMe page, and where you can find more information about the fundraising efforts for the orphanage in Ghana. Super shout outs to, I can say it, your wife.
My wife, it's official. Yes, my wife, Zoe Righteous. She's all over Exception as well.
Awesome. Shout outs to Miss Survival. Let's call her Mrs. Survival. And congratulations to the both of you, not only on your wedding, but also on this extremely noble cause, I would call it.
Thank you.
It's and I want to talk about that show you guys put on. I think that was a great, fantastic idea to put on, not just like a hip hop show or a poetry show, but a freaking variety show.
Sure.
Obviously, with the proceeds going where they need to go towards the fundraising efforts for the orphanage in Ghana. But I know the impetus for all this, as far as you're concerned, your involvement in it, I should say, was your wife. But I'm assuming y'all have been together for a while, so you've known that she was, involved with that for quite a bit now. At one point, did you step in, or did she, reel you in, so to speak, or rope you in to assist with those fundraising efforts? And just kind of talk to me about like the birth of that, and what. How it's progressed over over the time as you've gotten more and more involved. Because I looked at the last time I checked at the GoFundMe, I believe you guys were at $23,000. So you're saying you're halfway there. I'm assuming you're at 25ish now. Mm-hmm. Talk to me a little bit about all of that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a great sort of progression. We started talking about getting married in like November of 2014, and we were basically discussing all of the ways that we can do it in the manner that best suits us, not to compromise, each other's, individuality or, belief structure or lack thereof. And, I've known about her involvement with, the good people of Ghana for, as long as I've known her, and she made me aware of, all the good stuff that she's doing, and it's motivating me to be a better person, because I kind of get stuck in my own little Boston, Somerville, Massachusetts, United States bubble, and she's really helping me to kind of look beyond that. And I think it really progressed again about 8 or 9 months ago, when we started talking to the right folks. She has, connections with, her host family, obviously, who still lives in Ghana, and they're very connected, within their government structure, within, the legal structure, to be able to assist in, transferring the funds, and, talking to contractors, and, being, good enough people to, assist with these, with these Americans, one of whom they don't know. I mean, they don't know me, and I feel that they've really embraced some of the things that we're attempting to do, and we're embracing their culture, and basically trying to promote education first. And I think its importance is really profound, obviously.
Awesome, man, awesome. No, that sounds like a fantastic a fantastic effort to be involved in. Jason, you had a question for Mr. Survival here?
Actually, I have one wish.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I wish that our friend Prof would join the show. I don't know where he is, but it'd be so cool if he joined the show, don't you think?
Oh,
there he is.
Right on cue. Professor!
Yo, Prof.
You with us, buddy?
There he is.
Oh, he's live. Look at that. He said to hell with the icon. I'm just gonna sit here and show my face.
So yeah, Stefan, I just wanted to ask you. I know that you guys are doing this wonderful movement, but how did the media get involved with it? Because I believe.
Oh boy. Yikes. Okay. So we obviously had been, trying to get a little bit of traction on that front, and we really hadn't until January 1st of this year. And we're leaving to go to Ghana on February 15th. So, there's a very short window, whereas, all these things have, kind of transpired. And so my wife and I and, her family, we went to brunch when she was still my girlfriend, and she got a call from the local ABC affiliate. I know you guys are familiar with WCVB, and they were basically interested in the story because they had gotten an email from one of Zoe, my wife, her childhood friends, and they basically said, this is really different. This is cool. Can we meet with you in about a half an hour? And we're like, cool, check, please. All right, can you get up? All right. And then we basically skedaddled out of there and, tidied up the house so, they would be, nice and welcome. And they sat us down and, asked us a bunch of questions. And it aired that same day, maybe, I don't know, 4 hours later. It was on like the 5:30 to 6 broadcast. Yeah, I mean, and then, from there, it's, we've been reaching out to folks like, Oprah and Ellen and, doing all that sort of stuff. But 3 days before our wedding, which was January 17th.
Where did you get married, real quick?
We got married at Central Rock Gym, which is in Watertown, Massachusetts. Like a very unconventional venue for that sort of thing. So
it was Greater Boston. I just wasn't sure if you guys went out to New York or anything like that.
Yep.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
Did you freestyle your vows?
Yes, actually, I did. It was very, very emotional. It was very heartfelt, and it would have been cool if my wife had done so too. But hers were very, very meaningful, and at the end she said "Go Patriots," and everybody like whooped and hollered and clapped and threw confetti. So it was great. But
did you freestyle yourself into anything? Like you're entrapped finally. You had to make a rhyme, so you're like, "I love you wherever you are. I'll always wash the car." Oh shit.
No, but I mean, we obviously threw some personal, some like some inside jokes in there that 98% of the attendees got, and I thought it was really wonderful to do that and be able to kind of step outside of the box of
the usual.
I do the wed and all that sort of stuff to have my own sort of style and spin on something that we can honestly say that we don't think has ever been done before. I mean, it hadn't been done at Central Rock Gym before that, so we were really proud of the effort.
Great. Oh, no, and you should be, man. You should be. Let me take a moment here to introduce Professor, who's joining us a little bit late in the cast. I know you had some stuff going on, but it's good to have you, Mr. Professor, my partner in crime, along with Mr. Spaceman in JP Line Productions. Prof, what's up, man? How you doing?
Great. How's everybody going? I know you guys are well on your way in this excellent conversation. Stefan, thanks for being here, man. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Take it away, Prof. I know you got a few questions from Mr. Sur5ill here.
Well, no, I think it was really cool, your individual vows. In mine, I got married last year too, and I vowed to my wife to accompany her in the zombie apocalypse and do whatever was necessary to keep her safe. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool thing designing your own wedding ceremony now. That it's I don't know. I think it's different than probably when our parents got married, but it's not as constricting. You know, that it's more a ceremony between the two of you, and as long as you follow certain guidelines, legal guidelines, you know, you don't have to. It's not constricted to either a church or a certain. It's whatever you want to make it. You know, and that was really important to us too when we were going through our process last year. Was, you know, as far as location or, you know, anything really. We wanted it all to be exactly what we wanted. So.
Yeah, and I congratulated you when you got married. I mean, it's a high point in everybody's life, and
yes,
you know, just being able to do it the way that we want to do it, it was fantastic. And you know, hopefully there'll be another kind of media boost with that, and you know, we had gotten word from the New York Times that they wanted to feature us as their, you know, lead, you know, wedding in the vows section, which I believe is something that they do weekly on Sundays. So we're pretty excited about that, and you know, if you guys get a chance to see it, you will see my vows because I sent it to them word for word. So
awesome.
All right, fantastic. Survival.
Yes.
All right. Oh, actually, Chad. Actually, I wanted Chad to chime in here. Apparently, you and I are outnumbered as far as non-married. We're both taken. We're both in committed relationships. I believe you still are. This is one of those few moments. I guess this is what happens when you get older. I'm actually the second elder statesman, oddball, 8-track ball, whatever you want to call it, of the group. So Chad and I are the oldest ones, and we're the ones that aren't married. I think that's a little bit ironic.
I spent the entire weekend doing laundry for my girlfriend and her daughter, so I consider myself in the category with the other three. I think you're in the minority, dude. Sorry, I think you're the odd man out.
Well, I am Puerto Rican, so yeah.
Dude, housework does not equate marriage, I can tell you.
It's not for wimps.
It's coming.
Doing laundry doesn't make you married, brother.
No, it doesn't.
No, but it gets you in that groove. Let me tell you.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Gets you in that groove.
That's fantastic. So, Survival, what are the next steps as far as the charity goes? I mean, where you guys are halfway there. Does the GoFundMe have, and again, we're going to provide these links to everybody so that you can go. I encourage everybody to go donate. And, you know, we've got about 10 minutes left in the cast here, so I just really want to hammer home, you know, any more details that we want to share about the charity, including, you know, specifically the GoFundMe, because I want you guys to make some more money. And, you know, you need to start selling your music. But, you know, that's a topic for another day. Right now, let's go ahead and sell.
It's actually funny you say that because, you know, some of the things that Zoe and I were discussing, you know, as, you know, creative sort of outlets for, you know, media attention and, you know, social media and stuff like that. I proposed to her, you know, I could do a song. You know, I would get it, you know, professionally, you know, engineered and mastered and all that stuff. I'll throw it on iTunes, and then all of the proceeds could go to, you know, right to GoFundMe. But I think there was a little bit of a timing issue because, you know, I kind of had this light bulb, and, you know, back in November, and, you know, it would have been kind of a time crunch with doing all the things that we were doing with the wedding and all that stuff, so we decided to, you know, kind of shelve that. But, you know, there'll definitely be opportunities in the future. I mean, we just had a conversation earlier. You know, this could be something that we make into like a, you know, a semi-annual visit there or something like that, and we're thinking of, you know, maybe doing a 503c, you know, next year. So, you know, there's going to be opportunities with it. But, you know, as for this particular, you know, venture, you know, right now, so we're at 25 grand, and we're hoping that you know, people hear this podcast, they see things that happen on you know, the ABC affiliate, they see the things that are going on in New York Times, and they get inspired to donate more, and, you know, we can hit our goal and get the first floor built of the school. We're intending to go there no matter what, you know, with whatever money that we bring, and we're gonna break ground. We're gonna keep the GoFundMe page open, and we're going to keep receiving donations throughout the time that we're in Ghana, through February 29th. So, you know, we're basically, you know, going to be, you know, hopeful and, you know, kind of tap those resources and make sure that we can hit those goals. But we'll have a little bit of a backup plan as far as if the $25,000 doesn't cover the cost of foundation, floor, roof, that sort of thing. We can have some sort of I would say tangible contingency plan of something that is going to make everybody feel good no matter what.
A couple quick. Has the timepiece aired yet, or been published yet? I should say.
It was submitted Friday.
Okay.
So we're not exactly sure when it's gonna run. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed. The reporter. I'll throw her name out there. Beth Jones. She was fantastic. And the photographer who came along as well, I do not have her name in front of me. I really apologize. She was also fantastic. They came to our wedding as guests, and they were super, respectful of our time. Obviously as people that are getting married and running around and being crazy and doing all those things, but also kind of pulling people to the side and interviewing them that we felt were really important and key cogs. To not only the marriage, but helping us to get some of the things off the ground as far as the donation piece. We had someone come in who Zoe has known for 7 years, and it's her best friend from Ghana. So she flew in, and this is a 24-year-old girl. She's a student, and she's awesome. And her parents are really, really helping us to connect with those. Higher officials and those contractors and things like that, so that we can get the process moving. Because as dumb Americans, we have no idea how to get things moving and shaken over in Ghana. So she's been a terrific conduit for all of those progressions. So. And
you've already been out to Ghana, right? You've gone. You've seen.
I have not. I have not
really?
been out there. So this will be my first time. I've gotten a trillion shots. I've got all the the yellow fever leaflet that I'm going to put in. Put in my. I've got the visa. The passport's good to go. I just need to pack up some tank tops and some some 100 DEET bug spray, and then we'll be good to go.
All right. Well, just a quick word of advice, and I may be naive. You guys may have looked into this, but if you've already raised $25K, there might be some companies out there, charitable organizations or not, that might be willing to match to get you where you need to go. So
we're exploring that. Absolutely.
Look at that. And if there's anything we can do from a promotional standpoint to help, including running that New York Times piece, sharing it with all our followers, then we'll talk on the back end after the show, and we're going to keep pushing this for you because this is an excellent cause. Professor, Chad, Jason, let's
can I jump in real quick?
I was going to say let's get them in. We're running short on time, so now
I bet you covered this already. Stefan, how long are you going to be there?
So we'll be there for 2 weeks. We're leaving February 15th, and we're coming back on February 29th.
All right, because I was, if you're going to be there extended period of time, I thought it'd be awesome for us to do a segment with you from there in order to help promote it. So if that's a possibility at any point, let's make that happen.
It could be, an
international broadcast doesn't, it's easy to do on the internet,
Yeah.
If you want to send us written dispatches, I'm sure Oddball Magazine would publish it. And let me just say, congratulations on the media coup. I mean, this is something. 5 figures is not something you get just by Facebooking all your friends. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Sur5ill, what you're doing is a pretty stand-up move, man. And we definitely applaud you. And at Oddball Magazine, we'll do whatever promotions that we can do for you. Because as I'm sure JP Lime agrees the same, that what you're doing is a really good thing. A lot of people do stuff like that. And good job, man. Keep it up. Really proud of it.
Thank you. Applause all around. Nothing but applause all around.
Oh, awesome.
No, this has been a fantastic cast, fellas, and Sur5ill. I really want to thank you once again, for joining us, even after your first experience, to actually say, you know what, I want to work with these guys again. I think it's a testament more so to you than us. I can't.
I mean, you guys are super, professional, and I loved the atmosphere. It's like nice and light, and you guys have fun, and I'm grateful that you could have me back on such short notice. I mean, I think I emailed Ivan like Wednesday, and we kind of got things percolating after that.
Awesome, awesome. No, man, I'm happy to help. I really am. I'm happy to help in any way possible. Just some quick outros here. I want to thank the panel for showing up and doing this with us tonight or today, I should say. Mr. Chad Parento at Stone Soup / Oddball Magazine, Mr. Jason Wright at Oddball Magazine, my partner in crime, Professor from JP Line Productions, and I am Scholar of JP Line Productions as well. Sur5ill again. Thanks for everything. And, for everybody out there on the interwebs, we're going to send out all the links, pertinent links, so that you can get to the GoFundMe, get to the ABC News clip, get to the New York Times piece once that runs, and we're gonna shoot for that goal. We're gonna shoot for that 50K. I think it's broadly speaking, I just think it's fantastic when any MCs, whether it's whether it's the game donating water to the Flint, Michigan, with all the money and fame that he has, or Sur5ill, up and coming Greater Boston MC, out there just trying to get his music out, but also contributing to charitable causes like this. I just think it's fantastic when artists actually get involved. And as Sur5ill, you said when we were speaking, to set this up, not just talk about it, be about it. Very quickly, we do have Lisa Sayas is going to join us on the Oddball Show on Tuesday, February 2nd. Is that right? February 2nd, guys? Tuesday.
February 2nd, Liza.
Tuesday, February. Yep, Liza's Eyes. Speak about Liza real quick, Jason.
Yeah, sure. Liza's Eyes is she writes for the Underground Garden, which is our panel that we write on Thursday. She's an excellent poet. She's an incredible musician and a great lover of underground music, and she's coming on the show to talk with us February 2nd. Show's at 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. February 2nd. We'll send out some promo for that. And Lisa's another one, just like you, Sur5ill. She's a go-getter. She, she's not just talking about it. She's doing it. She's being about it. Right. So again, thanks for everybody for coming on. Sur5ill, if it's okay with you, I wanna exit with the get married interlude. I think it's only appropriate. Is that okay?
Absolutely. And to all the listeners, this was a joke, and it's not. I felt this way once about marriage. I still feel this way about quote-unquote traditional marriage, but it was all basically tongue-in-cheek. So
hey, and you're not allowed to feel that way anymore because you're actually married. So
exactly.
Shout out to all the wives out there and to all the committed relationships.
Shout out to Zoe Righteous.
There you go. Shout out Zoe. Shout out everybody out there listening. We thank you for joining us. And this is Get Married Interlude off of Exception from Sur5ill. Google it, Pertinent Links section. You'll see all the music there. Get Married Interlude. Thanks everybody for joining us. This is the Oddball Show. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that.
The sinister grin is bent in the skin on his face at the pulpit, swimming in sin. Everyone stands for. I pin sweaty hands that she kneels to my side. The bitches are cramped and I fear every stride that she makes at this pace. She is snapped at my pride. The villain is given away, killing the killings of unwillingness, built in, understanding deep. All I can picture is in sickness and in hell. Every guy's a his witness, I've been in any hell. This relationship, every week is a slalom, rings are presented, and I shift from Smeagol to Gollum. We put each other's on, the priest would call our names. Why say this matrimony. Why say I do? I'd rather go back to being on it. Why say I do? Why say I do? Why say I do? Why say I do?